The crime roll begins with the slow fade-in of a shattered window, blood-smudged hardwood floor, and the eerie silence of a house that once held laughter. The camera drifts past overturned furniture, a coffee mug cracked in two, and a family portrait lying face down, its glass fractured like the life that had just been taken. This is the residence of 32-year-old Alicia Warren, a schoolteacher loved by neighbors, respected by colleagues, and known for her almost obsessive punctuality. On the evening of October 14th, she didn't show up to her weekly book club, and by 9 p.m., the group's concerned calls went unanswered. By 10:15 p.m., one of her closest friends, Tara McNeil, drove to Alicia's home, only to find the front door slightly ajar. Tara's trembling fingers dialed 911 as she backed away, whispering to the operator that something was horribly wrong. When detectives arrived, the scene was already thick with the metallic scent of blood and the sharp chill of broken trust. The lights were off. The only illumination came from the street lamp outside, slicing harsh shadows across the room. Detective Samuel Grant, a veteran with 21 years on the force, instantly recognized one thing. The crime was staged, but not by an amateur. The body of Alicia lay near the fireplace, positioned unnaturally, like she had been placed carefully after death. There were no signs of sexual assault, no missing valuables, no forced entry. Everything screamed familiarity. Someone she trusted had walked into this home.
I can't
The
believe
investigation
it. She was the
kicked into
kindest
high
person.
gear.
Nobody had a
Friends
bad
were
word to say
interviewed.
about her.
Family was
It
questioned.
just doesn't make any
Alicia's
sense.
neighbors described her as a
She
woman
was
with
the
no
kindest
enemies,
person you'd
a
ever
gentle
meet.
soul who taught
just
children,
can't believe
fed
anyone
stray
would hurt
cats,
her.
and baked
It makes
cookies
no
every
sense.
Sunday. So
Everyone
who would
loved
want her
her.
dead? The first layer of the case cracked open when Alicia's phone data returned from forensics. Dozens of messages to a single number. An unknown contact saved only as S. The texts were vague yet tense. "Don't come here again. We need to end this the right way. You promised." When detectives traced the number, the results stunned them. It didn't belong to a person, but to a burner phone found smashed into pieces in a dumpster half a mile away. Suspicion shifted toward Alicia's ex-husband, Mark Warren, a tech consultant with a clean record but a shaky alibi. He claimed he had been working late, but the building's security cameras were conveniently offline that night due to a system update. Detectives noticed he seemed unusually calm for a man who had just learned his former wife was murdered. When asked about S, he denied knowing anything. But his hesitation, a mere flicker in his expression, hinted at something deeper. Then came the financial twist. Alicia had recently taken out a life insurance policy worth $500,000, with Mark still listed as the primary beneficiary. And yet, something in the investigation resisted settling on him. Too obvious. Too easy. Too clean. As the days passed, the case thickened like fog rolling across a forgotten graveyard. A mysterious footprint was found outside the back door, larger than Mark's. A half-burned letter in Alicia's fireplace revealed she had been preparing to expose someone. A neighbor reported seeing a dark figure near the house the night before. With every clue, guilt seemed to shift like sand slipping through fingers. And still, nothing prepared detectives, or the world, for the twist that would blow the entire investigation apart and turn this case into one of the most unbelievable stories ever told. The twist began to unravel when forensic analyst Dr. Crane ran the footprint through a custom database that included not just criminal records but private security personnel, military contractors, and off-grid individuals. The match came back shocking. The footprint belonged to Stephen Hale, a private investigator with a history of operating in legal gray areas. But here's the catch. Stephen Hale had been declared legally dead 3 years earlier. Detectives assumed it was an error until they dug deeper into his records. His death certificate was filed by a county clerk who had vanished months after the document was created. His old colleagues refused to speak about him. And his family? They claimed they had no idea where his body had ever been buried. This wasn't just a murder case anymore. It was the opening of a wormhole. Grant ordered surveillance on Hale's last known addresses. A storage unit registered under an alias revealed a treasure trove of files. Surveillance photos, audio logs, cryptic notes, and most disturbingly, a folder labeled AW. Inside were pages detailing Alicia's movements for over 6 months. Someone had hired Hale to follow her. But who? And why? The deeper they dug, the more sinister the motive became. Alicia was on the verge of exposing a financial scheme involving the misappropriation of school funds. Money quietly siphoned into offshore accounts. The prime suspect behind the scheme was none other than Principal Leonard Briggs, A man with political ambitions and a reputation for iron-fisted authority wrapped in a charming smile. Briggs denied everything, but his facade cracked when presented with photos of him meeting secretly with Hale. Still, Briggs swore he never ordered a killing. He had simply hired Hale to keep tabs on Alicia and dissuade her from going public. He claimed the situation was supposed to be non-violent. Yet the evidence continued to point toward something far more chilling. Hale's notes showed increasing paranoia. He wrote about someone else watching, and the shadow behind the shadow. It became clear he wasn't acting alone, or perhaps not acting at all. Maybe he was running from something himself. Then came the twist that changed the entire narrative. DNA found under Alicia's nails didn't match Mark, Briggs, or Hale. It matched a person who wasn't even on the suspect list. It matched Tara McNeil, the childhood friend who had found Alicia's body. When questioned again, Tara's calm, grieving persona completely dissolved. She confessed to deleting messages from Alicia's phone before calling 911. She admitted she knew about the investigator. But she still denied the murder. Her tears fell, but her story didn't. And something in her eyes, something cold, made the detectives dig deeper. The final break came when surveillance footage from a gas station near Alicia's home showed Tara and Alicia in a heated argument the night before the murder. Tara's motive? A secret no one had suspected. She was in love with Alicia. Not a simple affection, but an all-consuming obsession. Tara had hired Hale through an online anonymity service, hoping he'd find dirt on Mark or scare Alicia into leaving town with her. But when Hale realized the school scandal was bigger than Tara's emotional motives, he tried blackmailing both Alicia and Briggs. Alicia refused to be intimidated. Tara panicked, afraid of losing her, afraid of being exposed, and confronted her. The argument escalated. Alicia threatened to cut Tara off completely. Tara snapped. Everything after, the staged scene, the burner phone destruction, the fake footprint trail, was Tara's desperate attempt to mimic Hale's methods and redirect suspicion. She had watched him enough times to learn his patterns. She wanted everyone to believe the ghost of a dead man had returned. But in the end, the truth was simpler and more tragic. It wasn't the corrupt principal. It wasn't the vanished investigator. It wasn't the cold ex-husband. It was the friend standing closest to her. The one who loved her just a little too much. And that is why this case became known as the one with the most insane twist investigators had ever witnessed. A murder disguised as a conspiracy, a dead man resurrected as a scapegoat, and a friendship warped beyond recognition, until it shattered into violence.